Young
Hey,
I fell
hey,
in love with the trap.
hey, shout out to D Dirt, man.
Found the plug.
Fresh out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
I fell in love with the trap.
With the trap.
I went and found a plug.
Hey, hey,
I know my money, and I'm about to stack it up. All these niggas hating on me.
Hey.
I'm about to change it up.
hey, shout out to D Dirt. But nah, seriously, what's up, you at YouTube? This your favorite coach, Koach E. And today, we finna get into something a little serious. You hear me? Holla at me. So let's get to it. Today, and I hate to always be picking on the parents, but I be at these events and I'll be like, hey, that's a good subject to, to key in more on and be a little more specific about it. If I said that right, some people say you be talking about the ocean, so I had to put the S to, you feel me? But coaching from the crowd, man, let's talk about it. So check it, coaching from the crowd. Oh man, let's talk about it. Coaching from the crowd is not necessarily a bad thing, but I will say this. The way some of you parents do it, most of you parents do it, is not, that ain't it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Here goes some key things for me. If you don't take time with your kids on your free time at home to work with them on things and everything they pretty much know comes from their coach, I don't think that it's good that you know what I'm saying, want to hire yourself as the assistant coach or even the head coach sometime, the head coach of the crowd to, holler out and blurt out things. That can be completely disruptive. You have to remember, kids be torn sometime between being respectful and trying to listen to their parents because they don't want to be accused of having an attitude or, giving a stank face or just dealing with why you didn't listen to me. Well, when you on that court, we at work. You only got one supervisor that you listen to. It's just like at work. I can't come to your job and tell you to do anything differently when you on at work. Now, if you don't like what your coach is doing and you just feel like they can't coach, grab your kids, find another program. But at the end of the day, especially if you don't come to practice and you're not working with your kids at home, and I get it. I'm not saying don't say nothing. I understand that some people don't have time and you are making, and a lot of times you have to make time and miss certain things to be at your child's game. So I'm not saying don't say anything, but what I am saying is that aggressiveness and that, how you gonna match the energy of the coach? Like, no. Like you putting your child in a bad position. It's the coach's job to oversee the operations of the pitch and the floor. You may not know the philosophy or the scheme or whatever they're running. It might not fit what you're saying. He might have told your child, I don't want you shooting. Let's work on 2 passes, or whatever, or just run a certain play. Now, like I said, you were entitled to have your own opinion about things, but what I am saying is it's not your responsibility to come to a game and overtake or overthrow the coach. If you're not comfortable with what your coach is teaching your child, game day is most definitely not the day for you to turn into Jerry Jones to take over all operations and oversee them. We don't need you to be, program director all of a sudden and head coach and team, manager. That's, to me, I hate to use this word, but that creates a very toxic environment. Not to mention, a lot of times, unless you're on one of these elite teams, there's a lot of parents around you who might not know what's going on. So when you get to talking negatively or you get to hollering out this, and that, you'll find yourself in the midst of a lot of people who might be depending on you, since you might have such a strong, personality or opinion about things. And be like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then it leads into negative conversation. Then you cause division in the team. And once again, like I said in the previous video, that's something that you don't want to become a team counselor. But most definitely, coaching from the stands it's a distraction. I done been in games where kids will literally turn around because they so tired of hearing, and they can no longer force themselves to ignore their parent, and they'll just be out the game completely. And another thing, when you hollering at your child, they're still human. Like we always talk about a child needs to be respectful and all that, and that's cool. And I'm learning this too. But they're still humans. And then let's be honest, they have feelings, emotions, and a lot of times they're pretty much a product of you, and they share some of your qualities, your genes, your mentalities, your thoughts, whatever irritates them, triggers. So when you hollering at them when you're not the coach, you can cause them to shut down mentally. Now, that's crazy to think that you could cost a game from the crowd. You get what I'm saying? Just, I feel like a basketball court should be a safe place for a child, especially when we're here to develop and learn the game and allow them to enjoy the game and enjoy their teammates. But all that hollering, and then another thing, when y'all holler, y'all be sounding like different people. Like, I don't know where all that testosterone come from. Like, when you see them, you be like, how you doing, Mr. John or Miss Sharon? They be like, hey, how you doing? God bless you. But then when they're on the court and they hollering, roar, you be like, oh my God. Like, where did this parent come from? But during the week, they just like the sweetest people, like got they have like the most pleasant voice and the best handshakes and church hugs. They be good. Like, but then on Sundays when they hollering, you be trying to figure out like, is that the twin? Is that the uncle, the brother or something? Like, where did this come from? So what I'm saying is like coaching from the crowd, I feel like we need to learn how to dial back on it, because a lot of times we be encouraging our kids to do stuff that they not built for. And that's partially our fault. Like I said, skills and drills at a certain age shouldn't fall all on the coach. Man, especially when you're dealing with AAU, this is a volunteer thing. Unless you are an elite team and the coach get paid and he can they paying him $40,000, $50,000 a year or a good stipend where he can just quit his job. Or this is his job, and they got a gym and do all this. But when you think about practicing two days a week, 2 hours at a time, sometimes you're late, so you only get an hour 30 with your kids. And then there's a lot of things you got to go over. They don't have time to be developing certain skill sets. So just because you seen little Johnny or little Ashley outside in the community running through the middle, dribbling on 2 or 3 kids and doing floaters, that might not be what he can do in a real game. So stop getting frustrated saying, shoot. No. Like, why would you encourage your kids to shoot on 2 people or drive it in the lane just to make you happy? We're not here to make we're not here to satisfy you personally from, your hoop dreams or what you might have done. That's cool, you might have done that back then. But your kid might not be at that level. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna cause kids to develop I mentalities or me mentalities. Cause they always say ain't no I in team, but I also had somebody else tell me there's an ME, and that's a fact. So you don't want them to find an ME, because at the end of the day, kids sometimes will not listen to their coach just to have peace at home. And a lot of times too, we make our kids feel like they're better than what they are. And at that time, so my point is, if you're going to become the head coach of the crowd, from the crowd, like tell that to somebody else. Take your notes and give it to your kids at the end. And then too, talk to your coach and see, why they do certain things they do and what's going on, and ask how can you help. Like sometimes the first level of help shouldn't be the aggressive hollering from the stands. Like, hey, these should be conversations that you should have with your coach. Like, how can I help during the week, during practice or whatever? Like, and see if this is something that they want you to do, because this is just getting ridiculous and it causes like a bunch of just chaos. And then you got other people hollering, and then that also y'all start getting to a shouting match because another parent who got the same dominant or personalities, they start trying to out holler you. And y'all going back and forth with each other. I'm just saying the coaching from the crowd is needed, but not necessarily. Like, parents, please stop hollering at these kids, because your game is not your child's game. And it's always easy to say what you would have done or this, and that when you sitting in the crowd. The game speed and all that is different when you're not in it. It kind of reminds me of double dutching. When we was a kid, we would mess with the girls sometime and go over to mess with them and be like, oh man, that's easy. And then and it looked good and slow from a distance, but when you go up on them 2 rope and you doing it, man, one day I ain't even know it. I stood at the whole recess trying to find the right time to get in there, because it's when you doing it, everything is different. It's like watching boxing. Why he didn't swing? Man, listen. That look like an open hole, but it's a lot of consequences that come with it. So what I'm telling you is, parents, before you become or hire yourself as a certified head coach of the crowd, and then you like on the 6-7 bench, and like, hey, man, talk to your coach first and see what you can do to help. Another thing, I cannot stand aggressive parents who feel the need to walk around the court. Man, it's so bad. I know a couple of parents, man, they literally stand up under the opposing team's backboard on free throws just to distract them. Like, man, is it that serious? And then too, I don't like the Lord, I don't forgot the word. I hate the tactics, man, I can't believe I'm having a brain fart right now. But I just don't like the intimidating tactics that people do. Being like you, so now you ain't coaching. Get him. He's sorry. Da, da. Like, man, that's crazy. Especially when I be at some of these girls' games. Man, like, if you don't believe in your team enough to where you got to turn into a sideline bully and say, and you slick about it, where you just got to use aggressive tones and aggressive wording, but it be slick wording where, people got to kind of really just be up on what you're doing to change the flow of the game or the outcome. Like, man, that's ridiculous, man. Like, that's crazy. And side note, when you're parenting like that, from my understanding, there's always exceptions and, whatever. But, man, coach is not going to mess with your kids, like, straight up. So if winning this game and having your voice heard is more important than your child's future or the camaraderie of your team, then cool. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's on you. But don't be surprised when your child don't make it where you felt they should have made. Like, sometimes you have to sit back and evaluate yourself. Like, real talk, but the coaching from the crowd, I just feel like that's very, like, the aggressive especially. It's okay to give suggestions and say things here and there. Like, for example, I've been coaching my daughter for a long time, and any parent will tell you, when I'm at her game, I do not say nothing other than unless she's checking out, I encourage her, or if she's dribbling too high, but I have nothing negative to say. I don't tell her to shoot. Now, I might have done it before, but it might have been that she passed up an open shot on a pass where it's obvious that you need to shoot. But other than that, I don't be talking to the coach. I don't interfere in their relationship. I don't be trying to, like, change his schemes or anything. Like, even like Coach Strickland, dope coach, Akina Strickland, former WNBA player, coach at Seven Hill. My daughter played for her. I mean, she did some things that I might not agree with sometime, but it worked out. Like, sometimes you just got to shut up, sit back, and just allow them to work. And when your child come to you and talk to you about it, offer your opinion, but never go against your coach. All that plays a factor in the success of your team. But like I'm saying, coaching from the crowd is very toxic. Sometimes the coaches don't want to say nothing. And I'm just offering, this subject to you and just, talking about it from my standpoint, because like I said, I be at some of these games and, man, I don't understand why a middle school child should have to play in such a toxic atmosphere. It's a difference between electrifying and just amazing, competitive atmosphere. But, man, it just sounds like a bunch of thugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just really feel like we take this a little too, and serious not even a word, we take this just a little too tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how hard you holler, how aggressive you are, it's not going to make those two teams play any better. If anything, it's going to heighten the I don't want to say testosterone, but it's going to heighten the aggressiveness amongst them, and you don't want to do that, because it's already frustrating enough playing in front of people, or if another team mopping you, and, the press is just too dope, or you're missing your shots. So parents, please take into consideration how how your sideline coaching may affect the game. It might not affect it the way that you think it did. You might be the reason they lost. Allow your kids to develop, play free-minded, and at the same time, if your coach not hollering and you trust your coach, and this is a good coach, and you happy where you at, you shouldn't be hollering. Allow them to listen to him and play under whatever atmosphere or climate that he's created. He might don't want that atmosphere. He might be a coach with a different philosophy. Allow him to create that. You get what I'm saying? No coach should waste a time out talking to his kids about ignoring this and ignoring that. Because I done been around a lot of toxic parents, and there I go say the word again. But check it. Hey, I can go so many more avenues with that. I just want to offer that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of coaches be thinking it. I didn't deal with it, but I love my parents. My parents dope. Like I said, cut back on the aggressiveness. Think about what you're saying. Think about how it looks, and think about what it does. What I'm saying add to the intensity level, or does it add to the competitive side of it, to where I might even be giving some game that can affect it in a good way. That's all I'm saying. Cause like yesterday, there was an altercation. I don't know if it came from that. Really doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, these kids really be dealing with things where it could just take one negative thing to trigger it. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of these kids are playing basketball as they out. So check it, man. Like I said, as far as I'm going to go with it, you know the rest. I don't have to break down everything. Like I said, reach out to your coach, talk to him, ask him, what can you do to add to the culture of whatever the team, whatever the culture is he's trying to build there, and see if you can explore different ways of doing it. So check it out, y'all. We're going to ride out to D-Dirt one more time. But hey, this Koach E with A State of Mind with Koach E. Holla at your boy. Appreciate you.
Young Dot. I fell in love with the tram.
Hey.
I went and found a plug.
Hey.
I fell in love with the track. I went and found a plug.
Went and found a plug on them jerseys, baby. Lil Rock's on, man. Y'all be easy. I'm Koach E. Hey. And all your parents, please remember, I'm not knocking you for nothing you do. I'm just only offering some advice. So please don't jump on me. All I'm saying is, keep in mind, while you hollering at your coach can only work with whatever it is that you bring to them. You get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they're trying. And if your child don't have certain qualities or attributes about them, or dog, what you see at the house or your front yard might not always show up at the court at the gym on game day. So just remember, it's always about what you do outside of practice is what, makes you the great player you are. So once again, I love everybody. Appreciate you for tuning in, and please don't kill me.
What's up? It's Koach AC with Relentless Performance Training. I am now the strength and conditioning coach for TTA Bulldogs. Just a little bit about what I do. I help athletes develop their strength, their speed, agility, flexibility, balance, and I help them with recovery. So recovery is just as important as the workout. It's so good to take care of your body, because if you take care of your body will take care of you. So I work with athletes who are looking to go to the next level, whether it's college or beyond. I help you get their body to the next level. So let's work.